Now a view from the Russian election from abroad. Let's talk to international consultant and author Adrian Salbuchi. He's joining us from Argentina. A bit warmer than here tonight, Adrian, I guess. Did you see anything unexpected in how the voting turned out?
No, absolutely not. I think that everybody knew that Vladimir Putin would win the elections, perhaps not such a landslide election. And from the point of view of a Latin American living so far away from Russia, I would say that definitely this news is bad for the United States, bad for the United Kingdom, bad for Israel. And that is, as your Washington correspondent was saying, is being reflected in their media. Even the BBC, CNN, Fox News, Deutsche Welle, the Italian RAI, the Spanish TVE, Bloomberg, gave it as just one piece of information together with an explosion in Brazzaville and a train crash in Poland. Definitely it's bad news for them. However, again, from the point of view of an Argentine, I can only congratulate Russia for the election. And I can also say this is very good for the world, because now, more than ever, with the drive for global hegemony that we see on the part of the United States, the United Kingdom, the European Union, or at least some countries in the European Union, and Israel, Russia is the key country, together with China, but the key country to act as a buffer, as a brake, and even as a wall against these global colonial drive that we see from the major Western powers.
But Adrian, there is often an opinion expressed abroad that Dmitry Medvedev would be an easier leader for foreign partners to deal with, not so much Putin. Can Putin prove them wrong?
I definitely believe that that will be the case, because now the only language that the people driving, the global power masters embedded inside Washington, embedded inside London, the only language that they can clearly understand is if somebody looks at them straight in the eye and tells them, this will not do. And I think Mr. Putin knows how to look at an adversary without blinking.
Adrian, it's Anissa here chiming in with a question. I want to talk about global politics. Once Putin takes over the presidency, is it going to change?
I think that Russia will continue advancing to the place it rightfully deserves in the world scene, which is to act as a world power, which it always has been, except it was confused for a while in the 1990s. And secondly, it has to be a balance. It will help to balance global power so that, as I say, the world is not overrun, as we are seeing. I won't say by the United States, Britain, and the European Union, because that sounds rather childish, but I insist, by the global power elite embedded inside these countries, and they have to be stopped. We see what they are doing now in the Middle East, and as a Latin America, I know that once they finish with the Middle East, they will come to Latin America. That's why, for example, the Venezuelan mass media Telesur, the Venezuelan official channel, gave excellent coverage of the entire election process, which the Western media tended to ignore.
What do you think will happen to the street protests in Russia that we've been seeing over the past 6 months or so? We're expecting people to come out onto the streets as early as tonight, really. It's already Monday here in Moscow. Do you think, in general, these protests will shrink given the massive effort to ensure elections transparency? Or do you think they'll grow, fueled by personal opposition to Putin?
As an Argentine, we know a lot about street manifestations and street opposition and so forth. And there is a part which is authentic. It's genuine. A lot of people don't want to see Putin. 17% of the vote went to Mr. Zyuganov, the Communist Party and so forth. But many of the street protests that we've seen in Russia and that we are seeing the world over are clearly being engineered by tiny, well-trained, well-financed troublemakers who are heeding not to the interests of the Russian people or the Syrian people or the Libyan people, as we've seen in recent months, but again, as I say, towards the global interest, the geopolitical interests of the major powers, who would love to see chaos in the streets of Moscow and other major cities, just as they thrive on the chaos that they have seen in Benghazi, in Tripoli, and now in Homs and in Damascus.
I mean, following on from that, Adrian, it's Kevin again. So far, the Russian opposition's failed to unite and put forward a single leader, crucially, to rival Putin. Do you think that might happen anytime soon in the future?
I doubt it, because you see, there are two types of people in the public eye. You have politicians and you have statesmen. And right now, what the world needs precisely are statesmen. Think of it. A country that gave us an Adenauer, a Churchill, and a de Gaulle today gives us a Merkel, a Cameron, and a Sarkozy, which are really very low-level politicians. So as I personally think, and I think a lot of people agree, and the Russian people definitely agree, Vladimir Putin is a statesman, and that makes all the difference. So I don't see him going anytime soon.
Okay, Adrian Salbuchi, thanks for your thoughts. International consultant and author joining us live from Buenos Aires there.